Now you've taken some backlash for taking a stand, and we see, Bishop Joseph Strickland, who participated in the rally at the Dodgers game, strong proponent of barring Biden from receiving communion. He's facing backlash. I think it's safe to say if you take a stand, you're probably going to face a little backlash. So how do we encourage our church leaders to take that stand anyway?
Yeah, one of the ways I express this is if you identify with the unborn, you will be treated like the unborn.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, erased out of existence, really. I mean, the unborn are legally non-persons altogether. And then you get excluded, and you get excluded in many different ways. So one of the ways of encouraging a leadership in the face of this backlash is precisely to point out that this is par for the course. They shouldn't think that they're doing something wrong just because they're getting backlash. Sometimes pastoral planning in the church seems to be an exercise aimed at one goal, which is how can we avoid rocking the boat? How can we not get into trouble? And yet you read the Acts of the Apostles and it says, here's the Christians, the people who are turning the world upside down. If we're called to turn the world upside down, we shouldn't be worried about rocking the boat. But to get that historical biblical perspective, I think is a key to the answer to this question. How do we encourage them? Well, are you men and women of the Bible or not? Do you believe the historic faith or not? Do you follow a master who was crucified or not? Here's a man on a cross. I mean, he shook up. Talk about backlash. The whole symbol of our faith represents backlash and accepting it because you're on a mission for God. And some people get so worried that there's division. But I always point out, division is always going to be there. It's essential because it's the ultimate division between light and darkness. Scripture tells us the light came into the world, Jesus Christ. And what does John's gospel say? Some preferred darkness rather to light. Why? Because their deeds were evil. And so this conflict, this division is eternal. It's always going to be there. The clash between the light and the darkness. So either we're in as followers of Christ, and therefore we've signed up to be part of this battle, or we're not. And if we're not, then we're not. We have to admit that, okay, then I'm not in the battle at all. But too many try to have it both ways.
Right.
They want to say, oh yeah, not only am I a follower of Christ, I'm a preacher of his gospel, but somehow then they don't want to take the backlash. It's like, well, you don't have the right idea about what this is in the first place. And I think that is really literally requires a re-education and a spiritual renewal.
Yeah, it's in the brochure, right? You're going to face some backlash.